So I haven't talked to you for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2 weeks.
A lot of crazy things going on out there. I mean, there's information everywhere about this, that, and everything else. I don't know. What do you think?
It's hard to know what's really going on.
But we do keep getting the word sovereign and your sovereign being. And I mean, I'm hearing it. Are you hearing it?
Yeah, in the in certain circles, certainly not from everyone.
No, but it's
You
also
know,
being said that this is being done to protect your sovereignty.
yeah, in terms of the political side of things.
Well, in the Constitution,
Yeah, well, we have a lot to talk about in terms of the Constitution. I mean, we do have the the most the one that provides the most freedom,
yeah, and we're
supposedly.
and our relationship. I mean, our Constitution is unique. It's the only one on the planet that gives you rights.
Yeah, your God-given rights.
Yes, your God-given rights. Every other constitution on
Uh,
the planet, those rights are bestowed by some human being who is the king or the emperor or some other political body is giving you the rights and not your relationship with your own creator.
yeah, and we go along with it.
Do we know any better?
Not well, some of us do.
Okay. But I think, yeah, and there's a lot
Yeah.
that haven't arrived at that viewpoint. Let's put it that way.
No, no, it's a very interesting thing to deal on your own sovereignty.
Well, sure. And no matter what the name of the religion is, we got them all over the planet. Okay. Different cultures, different ideology. Every one of them still talking about our life source. I don't know how many people think about their life source. They wake up every morning, they're the same person. How did that happen? But yeah, all of whatever's being done out there is supposedly being done to protect our sovereignty. They talk about um, money and blockchain, and that then becomes solely yours, so on and so forth. And that's another level of sovereignty, if you will. I mean, after all, what is money? Money is something that, for the most part, most people get because they use their life energy
Yeah.
performing some task.
It's your energy concretized, yeah.
Yeah, and it gets turned into a piece of paper.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people realize that. But no matter what, it all comes back in all of these dialogues is that our rights for having been born on this planet are considered sovereign. They're considered, each of us, it's our rights. It's also, we have, each of us has a soul and it's individual. No two souls are exactly the same, because that soul is like your house of history. All of your incarnations, all the history of any lives you've ever lived are stored there.
And you've said in the past that you are the culmination of all of your experience in the current moment. That's what you're capable of expressing.
Right. Well, yes, that's when I talk about the soul. In fact, all those lives are synthesized together, and they are the equivalent of your understanding of the world. Well, you talk to yourself, right? And you get an answer back.
It's a lot of cursing to myself, but yeah, sure. I'm just kidding.
No, but you'll look
Uh,
and see something, and then you think, gee, what does that mean? And you're looking within for the answer, unless it's a building falling down and there's somebody standing next to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we do all have a soul. You know, most people aren't aware of it.
Yeah. Most do not even talk like that.
No,
That even the Christians don't speak on their soul, talk about their soul
no, they just
much at all.
save it.
Yeah.
And they're under the impression that somebody else is after it.
Right. Yeah. That's it though. That's where it really stops. Yeah.
You don't get the rest of it.
Yeah.
I mean, we live with ourselves 24 hours a day. You know, no matter what you do, you know, you can try to escape it, but it's still you. You're feeding the drugs to, if it's drugs, to escape it. And all of that gets saved. All of that becomes part of who you are. So if we're living with each other or with ourselves 24 hours a day, maybe it'd be good if we understood a little bit more about ourselves.
To whatever extent we can know something here, yeah, that'd be good.
Well, isn't that why you do your studying? And I would think that that's why a lot of the material, there's a lot of material out there that helps you understand that. And some of it seems to be relatively advanced right now compared to our daily function. If you can find it, where do you go?
Well, I'm only reading one book anymore these days for now, and that's Ray's Initiations. That's it. I haven't opened up. Well, I haven't even read Life and Teaching, teachings in a while.
Yeah, most people aren't going to have a clue what that is. So
It explains the initiation process, that are steps and stages to our expansions of consciousness and evolution. I I think I think the draw to it is once you recognize some once you recognize eternity, once you know that this is eternity, I think then at some point, whatever that means, then you also recognize some of the implications of that, which are, well, now you have to act like it. Now you have to learn how to behave in eternity.
it's a long journey.
Yeah, so I think you have to at least start making the attempt to get in line with that understanding, and that can require a lot of heavy duty changes. It's like the lesson plan on how to live in the higher levels of this and into the now and eternity and the aeons and however infinity, whatever.
And what does that do for us?
Well, this material is coming from higher levels, so it can raise us up with it to those two higher levels.
And what's the benefit of that?
Well, the expansions of consciousness as we make ourselves ready and prepared for them.
But where's it going to get you?
Well, that's the mystery.
No, a quick trip through Life and Teachings indicates to you that we, human beings, have the possibility to live literally forever.
Yeah, there's no death.
There is no death. Once you know how to work this piece of equipment that you're running around with called your body,
Yeah.
you can bring yourself to the point where, yeah, you not only that, but you can feed yourself without having to go to the grocery store. You order your dinner in, if you will, right?
Yeah, that's what they say.
And that is evidently what was seen by a group of researchers in 1894. They spent 3 years over there. Okay, so we get a better life on an everyday basis? Question mark. Is that
Well,
what
it's a lot more relaxed.
Well, no, I'm asking,
I mean,
do you consider it a better quality of life? I mean, think about wherever you were, whatever your life was, whatever you are experiencing now, because that's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, yeah. Is it a better? It's absolutely a better quality of life. I think you end up being much more concerned about other people's understanding for a while until you can relax about that as well, because you want to share it with everyone initially, but then it takes a while to figure out that maybe not everybody's going to grasp that at the same time that you did.
Can I short circuit that and say, are you telling me that you used to be an asshole and now you're a nice guy?
Well, I think I was overzealous. Yeah, probably overzealous about
And
all of it.
might that have been interpreted by other people as you being an asshole?
I absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially when you start talking about a lot of the things that people do not want to hear because it, shakes the apple cart, you know. So yeah, the growing up part of it is becoming comfortable in not being an asshole.
Being a nice guy, huh?
Just being, yeah, even in the face of ignorance. That's and my, I always said this from the beginning though. I if I didn't like something, it's it's ignorance, and I despise even my own ignorance. So yeah, that- I'm actually easier. I was even when I was like that, I was easier on other people than I was on myself.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, where does integrity come in on this?
Uh, that's interesting. I think I think I think it becomes inherent at some point, or it's just implicit.
The other day I saw somebody who um, stole a couple things. Okay.
Oh,
Cleverly, not
huh.
your standard, just pick it up out of the store and walk out stealing that way, but cleverly stealing it. And it was probably worth 50 cents. Okay. But in that process, they sold their integrity for 50 cents.
Right. That's all you really. Yeah, it's all you got. Right? Is that?
Yeah. I mean, and the thing about it is, integrity for me has been a big deal all my life. And I've been in a lot of environments where it would have been easy to have taken things that weren't mine. Okay. And not even a dime would I be off. I dealt with, I've been in business. I've had operated businesses for other people. Cash goes in and out of those drawers all the time. But you can only takes one move to lose your integrity. And that can be as little as a dime, but you've done it. And that's an important thing to think about.
And when you say you lose it to yourself.
Yeah, but then you lose it to your journey upward.
Mm.
Well, your truth, your word is your honor, for example, etc. Those are all parts of that. And where are you going on this journey? Every level up that chart that you've got moves you into stronger integral parts and truth.
Yeah.
Lies don't get you anywhere.
Right.
They
Well,
anchor,
it's certainly not worth it. I mean, yeah.
but they anchor you downward. They anchor you on whatever level you were there, trying to rise with a bunch of lies. You're not going to get anywhere, because eventually a piece of truth is going to come in and it's going to knock that whole, it's like a Jenga when, okay, you pull one piece out and the whole thing falls. And that if you can't live fundamentally on truth,
Right.
whatever world you built will be pulled out from underneath you at some point.
Yeah, I think yeah, that's an interesting thing. But I also think that at some point you probably just are honest all the time.
Well, that's the goal, isn't it?
Yeah, you
What
just
I,
are.
but what I'm saying is a lot of people figure, oh, that's just a nickel dime thing, you know, doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, it could even be just doing any harm,
Yes.
just any kind of knowingly, right? Like,
Yeah.
or just selfishness.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, selfishness is ugly. But we don't see that either, though. That's hard to see. We think we're just doing what everybody else is doing. You know, even in the real estate deals and all of this stuff, it's hard to maintain your integrity in this world. You have to stand up for yourself in a big way
Yeah, you do.
and be prepared to lose a lot and lose often.
But what are we losing?
Then nothing, but
What does it look like we're losing then?
to others it might look like you're losing something. I think.
Translate it is, are you losing dollars? Are you losing, what are you losing?
Well, everything. I think you. I think you end up losing a lot to maintain your own sovereignty and peace and stay honest. You're giving up a lot. There's a lot of sacrifice in that, and it's wrapped up in that.
And so why would then, what is the benefit of being truthful and honest and having integrity?
Well, you can be comfortable in yourself, and that's really all that matters. And there's a lot, and there is peace in that.
Versus living hell.
Yeah, yeah, that's a big difference. No stress or anxiety. How you gonna have stress or anxiety when you're just always who you are? When when you're just being yourself, that's who you're willing to be. Like I said, not in this short, what we think is a short life, though. I guess who you're willing to be in, the long run, or who you see yourself being in the long run. Not to say that it doesn't take some time to get used to it, though.
What, being honest?
All of it. Yeah, I think that's why it's a process. You know.
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe a few decades back or a century or two, there was a premium on honesty and integrity, but isn't one today that I can see unless you invest in that premium yourself with being yourself, honest, integrity, kindness, understanding ultimately that we are one, which is pretty hard for people to realize. We got people who look different color, different languages, etc., etc., and we think of them as all being different. But
Yeah.
as a humanity, we are all one. In other words, the whatever created, whoever the creator is, I'm not going to use all the different names that could be used. It would be a very long list on this planet, but whoever that creator is, he sustains life in every human being who's walking around on this planet.
In every instant.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a
Right.
tough one too.
And that's one of the things when I teach class, especially, and now I'm talking about astrology class, and I start out, first thing I say is there's no bad signs. Okay. Because people will have a liking for certain other signs relative to who they are, and there'll be a dislike or a hesitancy on the part of others. That's That's just the geometry of the circle.
Mm.
So and no bad signs. And then when you start pointing out this person's doing that wrong and boom, 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 and I just say, look, and the creator sustains the life force in every one of those people you're pointing to and the rest of the people on the planet. And there's some reason for it. I don't have the reason, but I understand there is a reason that's beyond my understanding. And I'm going to accept that.
Yeah, that's a big one. That it's all happening, in the same moment, all of it. That's
Yes.
that's a tough one to wrap our heads around. And that we're all one. That's also a tough one because I think you can get it even if you see it for a second or it's elusive. You can't really hang on to that.
But then you did a tape on a woman who had an epiphany
Yeah.
of, in a sense, seeing
Mm-hmm.
in a very short period of time that it is all one and everything is okay.
Yeah.
You should run that one again because there are people on the planet over, throughout time that do have that understanding. They get a glimpse. It's a larger glimpse of the whole scenario and are capable of understanding it. And then they find their own internal peace also, correct?
Yeah, I think that there comes when we study it and we see it, there comes the understanding that everything is as it's supposed to be, so you can relax.
Right.
And you're not really the doer in it so much either. You're not doing it.
But I think on that one, you almost have to have that viewpoint like an epiphany that just comes to you and overwhelms you with the vision.
I'm sure.
Throw the words out and like I'm saying it and really have it have that impact.
Yeah, the concept is different than the experience, or the knowledge is different than the experience of it.
Yeah.
I know, and DK says something pretty interesting. DK says that all wisdom is knowledge gained by experience and implemented by love. So, knowledge gained by experience. So you have to have the experience, I guess.
Right. But for the woman that we were talking about who saw that was her. Now, other people might think I got to have that experience by going through hell and doing this and doing that and doing that to learn they aren't the ones. And then I got to go do that. And they don't have a jump and a leap. They figure they've got to go through it all. That makes any sense.
Oh, that's certainly interesting.
Well, okay, let's figure out how old you are. Then let's take 30 years away. Okay. Imagine where you were.
Okay.
And what I'm saying is I think you had to go have all these experiences that you were having at that point in time because that was life. And the framework you have now would have had a hell of a time trying to fit into your world back then.
Right. Oh, yeah. Certainly.
But you got here.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. What a mind job that is, huh?
Yeah, that's why people make the journey to the east, if you will.
There's a lot going on out there. There's a lot of confusing stuff happening to work through.
Yeah. And so when that's happening, how do you manage it? How do you do it?
You have to go inward. Right?
And
I don't understand what you mean by that.
Okay, so I go inward. All right, I'm inward. What's happening? Do I have
Oh,
do I have to look inward? Do I just put blinders on my eyes? Am I
mm,
asking inward questions? Am I searching inward? What's inward? You know, do I eat a peanut butter sandwich and now it's inward?
yeah.
In other words, what does looking inward mean?
Well, I think that's a process too, isn't it?
I don't know. Tell me. You're
I
the one.
think it is. For me, it was certainly it certainly is a process of observation and becoming aware of, you know, this life and the way, you know, your astrology chart and seeing through the emotions and getting through the emotions of it all, because that is very hefty. Uh,
Yes.
and then and then start, you know, working through the after that, you know, working through the, I guess, illusion and working through.
Observer. What are we talking about, really? Do you just stop and observe what's going on inside? Because it runs like a freight train in there, from one thing to the other. We think we're thinking it. We think we're generating this.
Mm.
It's literally like a freight train that just keeps running through and's got information and ideas and feelings and all of this and that, lays them on you and you suck it up.
There's a lot of work that has to be done in all of this, I think, though. Actually, you know, this is not easy to. I don't know that I would be able to make that succinct connection with all of the things that have to happen, but becoming aware of your own patterns, I think, is very important. And then, you know, they say, you know, that I heard them say, you know, if you can stop thinking for 5 seconds, you're doing good. That like 8 years ago, I heard somebody say that, and they said if you can get to 10 seconds, well, then you're good. You're fine. You've done the work that you need to do. And when you first start observing yourself and you see how long you can be quiet, it really is just a second or so in the, you know, early on in it. And so it's very difficult to observe from that position when you've got all of the emotions and thoughts running through there. But after a while, you can, you know, you do the work. I guess I don't know what else I would call it, of observing. You know, really observing,
Yeah,
and then seeing what's valid. You know, what is what I'm thinking have any validity uh, in my life? It is, are these emotions that I'm having, do they apply intelligently in these situations? I think is first thing, and then if you can observe your emotions, well, then you know that they're not valid most of the time at all. Sometimes it's important to be able to use what appears to be emotions with talking to kids and people, because otherwise that's part of communication. It's part of intelligent communication. But it's just disrupting your own beingness. And then, you know, moving into the mental patterns that you've got and your behaviors that are making you emotional. So there's a lot going on there. Where do
right.
you,
But
you're trying to extract something from me, and I don't.
yeah, so let's go back to the chart that you use all the time.
Yeah,
Where are emotions and where is the mental?
yeah. All the way on the bottom, the lower three. Yeah, so.
Okay. No, but you have a section for the emotional, that's the astral
Right,
plane.
that's the astral plane, and then the mental plane.
And for the mental plane.
Yeah.
And what's happening is right now in any transition, because you experience the mental, the astral, you experience the astral first in history. We get emotional before we get mental. You experience the emotional, and humanity has gone through an emotional development initially to start with, the astral plane that built it out. Talk about the Atlantean generation or civilization, should say civilization. And that was on the astral plane. That was not on the mental plane. And that was a long time ago. But so we moved up, and you were kind of banting the words around as that we put our emotion in there, and that's our intelligent communication. And what I'm saying is there's a progressionary level there where we move, because you're not going to get to truth. And now I'm talking about actual energy in terms of, for example, the design of the world we're living in. Okay. And the scaffolding, if you will, that's really there in place that we need to work with. And if we don't work with it, we can have a rough and tumble time here living. Okay.
That's a good word, a good way to put it. Yeah.
It sure as hell is. Look at the people out there. It's tough. I know that. So anyway, I was just commenting on a couple of things you had indicated there, because you move up that chart, if you will, into the realms of truth. And the only time that you're going to get close to that is on that mental plane, because prior to that, on that astral plane, everything is fluid. It changes from minute to minute, second to second sometimes. Try to hold an emotion. How long can you hold it? It's almost instantaneous, and it's going to have gravitated a little bit to somewhere else.
Yeah, roller coaster ride. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you can be aware of the difference of those two, because what's happening now is we're starting to move up onto the mental plane. And so they call it kama manasic. It's a blend. So we're not still thinking straight mental. It's mixed with emotions. It's like the Jell-O that you mix with the whipped cream. That's kind of the way it is to me. And we don't really get anywhere, as far as I'm concerned, on this planet till you hit the mental plane. I mean, we are at a system that's got 7 levels. We're at 2.6, humanity in general, on the overall. We got a ways to go.